Delon, are you ready to do your little bit of the northern exposure?
I am ready, good sir. Are we just
You've been
going right
waiting all
into it?
episode.
Oh, I think we're ready to hear your gloating. Sure.
Oh man,
Well, I think,
okay.
and that's it for Delayed Offside for another week. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week.
Well, what can I say, man? I mean, this is the team I've been waiting for. This is the team I've been waiting for ever since they drafted Austin Matthews. You know, it's been a bit of a slow build with the guys learning along the way, some disappointments along the way. But like right now, guys, like honestly, this team is looking like the best Leafs team in probably 20 years. You know, they're first place in the North Division right now. You know, obviously there's still some hockey to play, but I mean, that's exciting. The Leafs have never won the President's Trophy and they've got a shot at it. So that's awesome. And then Austin Matthews, he could make history with the Leafs as well. I mean, he's leading the league with 18 goals. He's hurt right now, but he's still in the lead with goals and he has a shot at winning the Rocket. And he'd be the first Leafs player to win that trophy too. And honestly, he's having probably the best Leafs season since probably Gilmore. And Mitch Marner's having a great season too. They're 4th and 5th in league scoring right now. You know, I doubt they ever catch McDavid. What's
behind
that?
Who? Behind who?
Yeah, McDavid is way above. I don't expect them to catch McDavid. I don't expect an Art Ross, but it's, you know, you Oiler fans are spoiled with your, you know, best players in the league. The Leafs haven't had the best player in the league in a long, long time.
According to Twitter, you do.
You know what? He's in the conversation for it. I don't see him winning it unless somehow he gets that 50 and 50. You know, I think McDavid will take it, but I could see Matthews winning the Rocket. I could see him being up for the Selke as well. He's done really well defensively. He's ranking among the league leaders in puck battle wins, stick checks, block shots, takeaways, plus minus. Like he's really honed in on the defensive side of the game and put a lot of emphasis on that. And he's hitting, which is great. I see a lot more fire with him. And like I said, him and Marner, top 5 in scoring. The last Leafs player to be in the top 5 in scoring was Sundin way back in 2001, 2002. So honestly, this is awesome. You know, there are some concerns with the Leafs. You know, I'll be unbiased there. The big one is injuries. They can't seem to stay healthy, and a lot of it has to do with some of the older players they brought in, and maybe just the schedule is just too much for them. So I'm wondering if the Leafs should consider doing like you know what the Raptors did for Kawhi Leonard and, you know, give them some days off. You know, if you have a healthy lead in that North Division, you know, maybe you don't need to play Thornton and Spezza and Simmons every single game. I think they're playing like 5 times this week. That's just way too much for some of those older players. So maybe they need to consider some of that. And then I still think the Leafs potentially need a third line center. I think that middle 6, they're just missing one player there. You know, Keefe wanted to go with the Hyman, Kerfoot, Mikheyev line, and they were able to do that for a little bit until the injuries happened. And for the little bit I saw of it, it was pretty impressive. But on that Tavares, Nylander line, no one's really fit in there except for Hyman. So either you need someone there with Tavares and Nylander to get those guys going, or maybe switch Nylander and Marner. I know there's been some talk about that to get Tavares going. Or I would just put Hyman on that line, and I would find a third line center. Kerfoot's played okay, but he's played mostly wing, and I'm not sold on him as a third line center. I know in the Columbus series, that third line was really hemmed in by Columbus, and he was the center. When you're center, you're the driving force on that line, and he's on the smaller side. So in a perfect world, I'd move him to the wing. I get someone else in that third line spot, maybe someone with a bit more grit and size to him. But we'll see. Engvall played really well these last couple of games there. Maybe he fits there. You know, there's also Nick Robertson. He hasn't been able to get into the lineup yet. You know, maybe he's able to fit into the middle 6. Galchenyuk, maybe. But I would prefer maybe a trade for a third line center. But overall, guys, I'm very, very happy with the Leafs so far this year.
What about Nylander?
what John Scott was saying today on his podcast about how he thinks that just because it's run and gun hockey up north, that when they actually play against other teams that are better sound defensively or harder to check against and so forth, that the Leafs are really not going to hold up.
I think the Leafs are a better defensive team this year. I mean, you look at terms of like the shots that they allow per game, it's way down. They're blocking shots this year. They never did that before. They're actually getting in front of the puck. They don't hit a lot still. They're not a hitting team. Like I said, perfect world, they bring in a third line center who can bring a bit more physicality. I think that would be helpful for the Leafs. But I tell you what, TJ Brody, thank you, Sanjay. He started off a bit rusty with Riley. It took him a while to get used to playing with Riley and their system, but I'm really enjoying TJ Brody on that back end. His stick work is amazing. That stick check he put on McDavid when he tried to go around him was awesome. He's really helped in terms of being able to provide that defensive aspect to that pairing so that Riley can just focus on the offensive side. And Zach Bogosian, too, I'm pretty happy with him. The way he can clear the front of the net, the Leafs just didn't have those big bodies before, and players were just able to just park in front and do what they wanted in front of Freddie. Not with Bogosian out there. He gets them out of there, and I like that. So I think, they're more suited now for a more defensive game. Now, having said that, I do think that they have benefited from not being in the Atlantic and having to be in the same division as Tampa Bay and Boston. So I'm not sure how they'll match up against those two teams because those two teams are powerhouses. Do I expect the Leafs to win the Cup this year? I mean, I don't.
Yes.
To be honest,
I guess, yeah. Sure.
I don't because they haven't even won a playoff round yet. So to go from not winning one playoff round to all of a sudden winning the Cup just seems a bit far-fetched to me. But I mean, if they can make it to the Final Four, I'll be very happy. If they can get to the Cup final, I'll be ecstatic. And if somehow they can pull it off, well, shit, I'm going to be partying for weeks. But I'm just hoping for improvements in the postseason. Obviously, get past that first round, get past a couple rounds at least, get to the Final Four. If they get to the Final Four, in my eyes, they've succeeded this year.
That's a huge step.